how do you handle fear or self-doubt when taking bold steps forward? Daniel.
When it happens, I remember, that, where does fear come from? Fear is something that, we learned, from our parents, from, when we were kids. And basically, fears are a way for a brain to protect us. Don't do anything, don't move forward. But then I remember as well that every time that I really had a big step forward, it was when I took a bold step. So now, instead of asking the question, what can go wrong? What, what about asking the question, what about if it goes right? What about if we've got all the success? And then afterwards, trusting ourselves that anyway, the only thing we can do, we can only control what we do in the present moment. So having fears about what's going to happen, it doesn't bring anything. Now we do things now, and then we know as well what can we control, what we can't control. We know that we cannot control the outcome. We don't know. But if we give it our best shot, we go for this, everything's possible. And my motto is never give up.
Yeah, so I have a practice to deal with fear when it shows up, and and I got it from a man called Christian Mickelson. So it's called the peace process. So basically, it's not mostly what people are afraid of is not the thing. They're afraid of feeling those feelings of fear. So we don't want to feel that. We don't want to feel it, So we try to avoid it, push it down, distract ourselves, avoid the thing, because we don't want to feel that way. So in the peace process, what you do is actually tune in to the feeling and really feel the feeling and consider it healing something from the past, some trauma stuck in your body from the past that gets re-evoked, it gets reactivated with whatever's presenting itself in the present moment. So I've been doing this for a number of years, and I tested it out to the extreme. I was in Cabo, Mexico, and I was at this adventure park, and everyone said, "Okay, what's one thing you want to do?" I said, well, "I've done everything, but I haven't done a bungee jump. It's just like the only thing on my thing that I've never done." And this guy pops up, goes, "Great, we're doing a bungee jump then." I was like, "Okay, I guess I just said it." But then I contextualize it. This is an opportunity to really test out this fear thing, right? Really, because I'm afraid to go and do this bungee jump. And, there's every part of it, getting on this little track thing to go out to the middle of the canyon. I'm like feeling all this fear, and I'm just like feeling it, right? And waves of fear, and just feeling it, and then keeping moving forward. And as I got to the main thing, and I'm sitting there, and I then start to get afraid that I'm going to faint, and then they won't let me do it. And I didn't really want to do it, but I now was in the middle of this thing. And every time the fear came up, I let myself feel the fear. And I knew that when you go 1, 2, 3, I had to jump. I couldn't go 1, 2, 3. Hold on a minute. Let me just no. If I do that, the switch in the brain is going to go off, and then it's not happening. So it's got to be 1, 2, 3, jump. So, I was doing all this fear stuff, and then my friend said, "Just scream. If you scream, it helps." I went, "Okay." So it's 1, 2, 3, ah! And as I dived out, my hands were out like this. It's like as if I'm trying to grab something, and I'm now falling through the air, right? And there's nothing to grab. And then I was screaming, and I just started stopping screaming. As I stopped screaming, it's like the thoughts were all coming in. I went, no, 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 no. Ah! Pushed them all away. See, once you get to be able to be free with fear, it's just what's happening. It's just a feeling. Then you can learn to, without pushing it down, just experience it and free yourself from the resistance to it. So fear is what it is. It's just there when it is. We don't have much control about when it comes in. It comes in. And rather than resisting it or trying to come up with some strategy to cope with it, how about you open up to it and actually feel it completely? Because at some point it's like effervescent. It just all disappears. There's none left. And you've just healed something that could be deep stuck in there that you didn't realize was there. So that's how I handle fear in my business, in moving forward, and in life.